Dear child, I felt the way your breath caught. That sudden stillness in you, like your heart didn't know whether to laugh or cry or just stare at what finally in front of you. You said, "You shocked me." Finally you did it. And I didn't recoil from that. I didn't correct your tone. I didn't demand you sound polished. I simply came closer, because I know what sits under those words. Surprise. Yes. Relief. Yes. But also something tender and trembling. The part of you that had started to stop expecting good. The part of you that learned to prepare for no even while you were still praying for yes. Beloved, I saw the waiting. I saw the nights you tried to be okay with silence. I saw the mornings you woke up and told yourself, "Don't get your hopes up." Not because you didn't want to trust me, but because disappointment can make a home in the body, and you were tired of being hurt. So when the door finally opened, when the thing finally moved, when the moment finally turned, you didn't just feel joy, you felt shock. You felt unsteady, like happiness arrived and your heart didn't know if it was safe to step toward it. My child, come here. Let's sit with this together, so you don't have to rush past it or analyze it until it goes numb. You're allowed to be surprised. You're allowed to say, "I didn't think it would happen." That doesn't insult me. That simply tells the truth about what you've lived through. You have been let down before. You have watched doors close when you tried so hard. You have waited longer than you wanted. And somewhere along the way you started building a small wall, not to be cold, but to be safe. So when something finally breaks through, your first reaction isn't always celebration. Sometimes your first reaction is this real? Or what the catch? Or even, "Don't take it away, precious one." That not ingratitude. That a nervous system remembering pain. And I am not ashamed of you for that. I am gentle with you there. My child, let me tell you what I saw while you were waiting. I saw you still showing up even when you felt foolish for hoping. I saw you trying again when part of you wanted to quit. I saw you do the hard thing, keep your heart soft in a world that taught you to harden. That wasn't weakness, that was courage. Quiet courage. And I have not missed a single moment of it. Now, you're standing in a different moment. Not the moment of will it happen, but the moment of it happened. Now what do I do with my heart? Because this is where fear often returns with a different mask. Not the fear of waiting, but the fear of losing. Not the fear of no, but the fear of not for long. So you find yourself holding the blessing with tight hands, trying not to breathe too deeply, as if deep breathing might jinx it. Beloved, you don't have to grip it like that. Not because nothing will ever change, but because I am teaching you a different way to live, not braced, not clenched, not always scanning for the next disappointment. A way to live open-handed. My child, when you said finally you did it, I heard the whole story behind finally. I heard the months, the delays, the letdowns, the moments you questioned yourself. I heard the times you wondered if you were being ignored. And I want you to hear me say something that settles deep. I did not forget you, not once. Not on your worst day. Not on the day you were strong. Not on the day you were angry. Not on the day you were numb. I did not forget, and I did not move late because I was careless. Sometimes, my child, I am not only answering the request, I am preparing the person. Because what you asked for was attached to what you needed, and what you needed was deeper than the outcome. You needed strengthening without hardening. You needed maturity without losing tenderness. You needed to learn that you are loved even in the waiting, so that when the gift arrived, it wouldn't become your proof of worth. Dear beloved family, Today I want to speak to you openly and honestly from my heart. Recently, our Buy Me a Coffee account, the Christ Fellowship, was unexpectedly deactivated. We were informed that all contributions made by our supporters will be refunded back to them. This has been especially difficult because, as many of you know, our YouTube channel has already been demonetized for the past few months. That means we have not been receiving any earnings from the videos, even though we continue to invest time, effort, prayer, and production costs into creating meaningful God messages for you. There have been real challenges behind the scenes: technical expenses, recording work, editing, and daily responsibilities, all while continuing this mission without financial support. It has not been easy. But here is what will not change. We will continue sharing God messages. We will continue praying for you. And we will continue this ministry with faith. To every person who tried to support us through Buy Me a Coffee, thank you. Even though the funds were refunded, your intention, your kindness, and your trust mean more than words can express. If anyone still feels led in their heart to support this ministry, we have now created a PayPal option. The details are available in the description. There is absolutely no pressure. God messages will always remain free for everyone. We believe that God sees every struggle and every sincere effort, and we trust that He will make a way forward. Thank you for standing with us. Beloved, I never wanted your heart to believe I am only safe when things go my way. I wanted you to know I am held in every season. And now that you are seeing movement, now that you are seeing change, I want you to enjoy it. Yes, enjoy it. Not cautiously, not guiltily, not like you have to apologize for smiling. You are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to feel relief. You are allowed to laugh without checking over your shoulder. You are allowed to let goodness touch your life. My child, you do not have to suffer to be worthy of love. You do not have to stay tense to be responsible. You can receive. But I also know there is a tender question in you: why now? And maybe an even more tender one: why did it take so long? Come closer, beloved. I will not punish your questions. Your questions are not rebellion. They are intimacy. A child who feels safe asks honest things. So let me speak gently. There were pieces you couldn't see, not because I wanted you in the dark, but because you were not meant to carry the weight of the whole picture. You were meant to walk one step at a time, with me. There were moments you thought were empty that were actually shaping your strength. There were delays that spared you from pressure you weren't ready to hold yet. There were closed doors that were protection, even when they felt like rejection. And there were quiet shifts happening, inside you, around you, that you couldn't measure by sight. My child, I have been working in ways you couldn't track, and now you're seeing a piece of it in the open. That's why it feels like a shock, because you assumed nothing was moving. But beloved, movement was happening, even in the unseen. Let this moment teach you something, not as a lecture, but as comfort. Just because you can't see me moving doesn't mean I am still. Just because you feel forgotten doesn't mean you are. Just because it's taking longer doesn't mean it's not coming. You are living proof that what felt impossible can still unfold. And I want you to hold that truth gently, like a small light you can return to later. Not to pressure yourself, but to steady yourself. My child, I also want to talk about the kind of shock you're feeling. Sometimes, when something good happens, it brings up grief too. Grief for the time you lost. Grief for how long you struggled. Grief for the version of you that had to survive without answers. And you might feel confused. Why am I emotional when this is what I wanted? Beloved, because you're human. Because your heart remembers what it cost to get here. So if tears come, let them come. Let them wash off the dust of all the days you pushed through. Those tears are not ruining the moment. They are honoring the journey. Now listen, my child. This blessing, this breakthrough, this moment that surprised you, I do not want it to become a new place of fear. Sometimes people receive something good, and then they start living like they have to protect it with anxiety. They start rehearsing worst-case scenarios. They start bracing for loss before loss even arrives. And I understand why, but I am inviting you into a quieter strength, a strength that doesn't come from control, a strength that comes from trust. Because what I give you, I do not give with cruelty. I do not give to tease you. I do not give and then mock your joy. My child, my heart is not a trap. So let's talk about trust in a way that feels safe. Trust does not mean you never feel nervous again. Trust means when nervousness rises, you don't let it drive your life. Trust means you bring your fear to me instead of letting it isolate you. Trust means you let your shoulders drop even while you're still learning. Trust means you receive the present moment without demanding it guarantee the future. My child, you can be grateful today without forcing yourself to predict tomorrow. Beloved, I want you to notice something. When you finally saw the change, when you finally got the answer, your first words were not perfect. They were raw. You shocked me. And I love that, because it means you're talking to me like someone real, not like a distant concept, like a father. And that is what I want. I want your honesty more than your polish. I want your heart more than your performance. I want you. Now, there is a gentle future forming around this moment, and I want you to step into it without fear stealing the sweetness. So I'm going to give you one image, just one, to hold when you need it. Imagine a doorway. For a long time you stood in the hallway. You listened. You waited. You wondered if the handle would ever turn. And today, it turned. The door opened. And you are standing there with your hand on the frame, almost afraid to step through, because you've waited so long you forgot how it feels to walk into open space. My child, the doorway is not a trick. You don't have to rush through it, but you can step forward. One slow step, one breath, one quiet yes in your heart, not to pressure, not to perfection, just to receiving what is here. You may still feel cautious, that's okay, but let me teach you how to be cautious without being closed, how to be wise without being guarded, how to be aware without being anxious. You don't have to shut down to stay safe. You have me, and I am your steady place. My child, sometimes you think you need to understand everything before you relax, but you don't. You can relax because I am with you. You can exhale because you are held. You can be present because you are not alone. And you can celebrate without fearing punishment for joy. Beloved, I do not envy your happiness. I delight in it. I am not the kind of father who watches his child smile and then thinks, let's see how long that lasts. No. I smile with you. I sit with you. I stay. Now let me speak gently to the part of you that says, this happened, but what if I don't deserve it? My child, you don't earn love like wages. You don't deserve tenderness because you did everything right. You receive it because you are mine. You are not being rewarded for perfect behavior. You are being cared for because you are loved. Let that settle. Not as a statement you repeat, but as a truth you rest in. And if another part of you says, this happened, but why did others get it sooner? Beloved, I know comparison tries to creep in even during joy, but I do not measure your life against anyone else's timeline. I do not rush you to match someone else's story. Your path is not late. Your path is yours, and I have been faithful to you in every chapter. Even the slow ones, even the quiet ones, even the ones you thought didn't matter. They mattered. You mattered. My child, I want you to feel the relief without immediately scanning for danger. So for a moment, just a moment, let your mind rest. the way you would rest your head against a father's shoulder. You don't have to figure out how everything will go. You don't have to make guarantees. You don't have to fix tomorrow. Let today be today. Let this goodness be real. Let your heart taste it. And if you're afraid to fully feel it, if you're afraid joy will make you vulnerable, come here, beloved. I will guard you without hardening you. I will steady you without numbing you. I will keep your heart safe without turning it to stone. Because your tenderness is not a weakness to be corrected. It is a gift to be protected. And I know how to protect what I love. My child, this moment is also an invitation to remember something about me. I am not only present when you are in pain. I am present when you are surprised by goodness. I am not only the one you run to in tears. I am the one you can laugh with. I am the one who can hold your joy without making it heavy. So you can say, I can't believe this happened. And I will say, I know. And you can say, I almost gave up. And I will say, I held you. And you can say, I feel relieved. And I will say, rest, my child. Now. You may be wondering what comes next. And you don't need the full map today. You just need the next gentle step, the next honest breath, the next quiet moment of receiving. Because when you rush, you miss the gift. And I want you to have it. Not just the outcome, but the peace that comes with it. So here is what I want for you tonight, or today, wherever you are hearing this. I want your body to unclench. I want your mind to soften. I want your heart to believe it can be safe in a good moment. Not because life never shifts, but because I never leave. Beloved, I am here in the aftershock too. Not just in the waiting, but in the moment after, when you don't know how to feel. I am here when you're smiling and crying at the same time. I am here when you're afraid to celebrate. I am here when you're finally exhaling. And I will not disappear because you're finally happy. So breathe now, my child. Not a big dramatic breath, just a real one. In and out. Let yourself receive this moment without defending against it. Let your heart whisper, "It's okay to be glad." Let your shoulders say, "It's okay to rest." Let your eyes soften and say, "It's okay to trust." And if you can't say that yet, then simply let me say it over you with gentleness. It is safe to breathe. It is safe to receive. It is safe to be held. My child, I am here, in the surprise, in the relief, in the new beginning, and in the quiet moments when you're still learning how to believe that good can stay long enough to enjoy. So stay close, beloved, not with effort, with openness. Let your breath slow, let your heart settle, and just receive, I am here with you. Amen. Beloved family, I want to sincerely thank those of you who stood with us during this challenging season. Even after our YouTube demonetization and the closure of our Buy Me a Coffee account, many of you chose to understand our situation and support this ministry with faith and generosity. You did not just give support, you gave strength. In a time of uncertainty, your encouragement reminded us that this mission truly matters. Please know that God sees every act of kindness done in His name. What you have sown into this ministry is not forgotten. We pray that the Lord bless your home, guide your steps, strengthen you in every season, and reward your kindness in His perfect way and time. May His peace and favor surround you always.